What if some of the most famous, most foundational stories in the entire Bible don't mean what we've always thought they meant? Not because the stories are wrong, but because something crucial got lost in translation. You see, when we peel back the layers and look at the original Hebrew and Greek, something amazing happens. The Bible starts to shift from a book about ancient history into a deeply personal guide for an inner spiritual journey. So, yeah, let's just dive right in with the big question. Are we really getting the full picture from these translations? By going back to the source languages, we can start to challenge some of our most basic assumptions. And honestly, the answers might just change how you see, well, everything. And check this out. This chart just lays it all out perfectly. On the left, you've got the familiar phrases we all know, the ones that point to things that happened way back when. But on the right, that's a whole different perspective, one that comes from the original text. And it points to something happening inside of us, right now. So let's see how this whole thing unfolds. Okay, our first big revelation kicks off at the very, very beginning. And I mean that literally, the first verse of the Bible, Genesis 1:1. We all know this line, right? It's epic. It sets the stage for this massive cosmic creation story, a single event that happened at the dawn of time. It feels so final, so external, something that happened ages ago. But is that what the original Hebrew was actually trying to say? So the very first word of the entire Bible is Bereshit, and it's made up of two parts. B, which means in or inside, and Reshit, which comes from the root word Rosh, meaning head. So a more direct reading isn't about a point in time, it's about a process starting in a head, inside a purpose, a consciousness, a divine idea. And once you see it, this idea of the head, or Rosh, is everywhere in the scriptures. It's the source where the river of life flows from in Eden. It's the battlefield in the mind where the serpent's knowledge fights with God's. It's the seat of power that governs our whole inner world. So here's the crucial point. Genesis isn't just a story about the creation of the universe. It's a blueprint for a conflict, a battle of knowledge that happens inside the human mind. It's a battle between the first head, Adam's mind, which leads to inner chaos, and the new head, Christ's mind, which kicks off a brand new spiritual creation within us. Now, this idea of an internal creation, this battle for the mind, it sets the stage perfectly for what so many consider the most personal event in history, the incarnation. We're about to see how this whole inner journey idea applies to the birth of Christ. When we hear this verse, our minds immediately go to the nativity scene, right? Jesus in a manger in Bethlehem 2,000 years ago? It's an external, historical event that's absolutely foundational, and it is. But what if there's more to it? What if this verse is also describing something happening inside of you right now? Let's just break this down. The sources suggest that the word, or logos in Greek, which means something like a divine principle or blueprint, can be seen as a divine seed of knowledge. And the flesh, it's not just a historical body from long ago. It's the fertile ground of your body, your consciousness, today. And when you look at it this way, Christmas is totally transformed. It's not just a memory of something that happened in the past. It becomes this deeply personal, always happening spiritual reality. It's the moment that divine knowledge, or light, gets planted in our inner darkness, which the scriptures say isn't really evil, but ignorance. Okay, so if creation is the blueprint for our inner world, and the incarnation is this seed of divine knowledge planted inside us, how in the world do we make it grow? Well, this brings us to one of the most famous prayers on the planet, the Lord's Prayer. You know, most of us say the Lord's Prayer as if it's a list of humble, polite requests. But if you look at the original Greek, you're in for a shock. Almost every single verb is in the imperative mood. That's the mood of command. This isn't asking, it's demanding. This table just makes it so clear. Hallowed be your name becomes a command. Your name must be made holy in me. And give us our daily bread? Whoa, that's not a plea for a loaf of bread. It's a demand for that spiritual bread, that bread of life. We're commanding that God's promises be fulfilled in us right here, right now. But why? Why this bold, demanding tone? Well, Jesus actually explains it with a story. It's about a guy who's banging on his friend's door at midnight, desperate for bread. And Jesus says the friend gets the bread, not because of friendship, but because of his anideia, this amazing Greek word. It means shamelessness, a bold persistence that just won't take no for an answer, because it knows a promise was made. So what's the one ultimate goal of all this shameless demanding? What's the point? Jesus makes it crystal clear at the end of the passage to receive the Holy Spirit. That's the one thing that activates this entire inner kingdom. It's the thing that makes all of God's promises a reality inside of us. All right, let's bring these three massive ideas together. Let's see what kind of incredible picture they paint when we view them as one cohesive journey. So, first up, we've seen that the creation story isn't just about what happened back then. It's a living blueprint for how divine knowledge creates order out of chaos inside your mind today.
It's happening now.
Second, the incarnation isn't just an event that happened over there in Bethlehem. It's the divine seed of that same knowledge being planted within your own being, right here, waiting to grow. And finally, prayer. It's not a passive request for a kingdom that's coming someday. No, it's the active, shameless demand to awaken and switch on the reality that Jesus said is already within you. So the huge takeaway here is that the Bible completely transforms. It stops being only a record of things that happened to other people thousands of years ago. It becomes a personal map, a living, breathing guide for a journey of transformation, a journey that is available to every single one of us, right here, right now. And this new way of looking at things leaves us with one last really powerful question to think about. It shifts our focus from looking backward into history to looking inward right now. So if the Bible is a map to your inner world, what will you discover there today? Thanks so much for joining me on this exploration.